Yes, good people. Big up to all of you, and welcome back to Chelsea Perspective. Welcome back to another edition of the Blue Morning Show. We don't have too much lined up to talk today, and so we'll breeze through it as quickly as possible. It doesn't matter whether it's 20, 30 minutes, and we call it a day because it gets boring when there isn't anything specific to talk about, and we keep going on and on. Otherwise, we give people the platform to come, you can say, spill negativity here, and I really do not want to do that. But more importantly, I'll say hello to those of you in the chat, and we get into the items we have lined up. There isn't too much; it's just a straight up news about injuries and nothing different actually. But let's see. Rain, always nice to see you. Big up, Rain. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. I hope you're doing well. And big up to you too, Daniel Munoz. I hope you're doing well. Is that Santiago Munoz? And then I have Iswara, I appreciate you joining without wasting much of your time. More importantly, I do hope you're doing well, and I sincerely do mean that. Let's get into the show and address the items we have as quickly as possible and call it a day. Yes, people, once more, I appreciate you all finding the time to join the show. As I've told you, we don't have too much lined up to talk about. It's a slow period in terms of for Chelsea content creators. Not a lot of views, so we're not going to try and do anything beyond what we have lined up here. Otherwise, it'd be depressing for some people to sit and watch others spew negativity here. So we get into addressing the items we have lined up, and as soon as we're done with it, we'll call it a day. No harm in that. If I have the energy, then we still do another show in the evening. The daily roundup show. We'll try and bring it back now that I have the time for that. Okay, the first item we have lined up here talks about Gaga Slonina, who's on loan at Spain. I'm not sure how you pronounce the name of that particular club. Gaga Slonina has started Upen's last of 5 games in Belgian Pro League this season. Good for him, which means he's playing consistently. That is really good for his development. He has huge potential. The only question I've always asked is how good he is with his feet, and I still don't know yet. Maybe if I can get the Belgian league, maybe somehow get the broadcast somehow. I'll watch a few of his games to see how good he is with his feet. But I'm not too sure I'll be able to get the Belgian league on my TV. And this says John Allen, always nice to see you. I appreciate you joining. When is this injury release going to stop? We need to change the medical team. I don't think the argument should be to change the medical team because they've done that already. The medical team or the players are so into getting the perfect body that it contributes to their injuries. I think they will figure it out. I'm not too sure why that has been the case. It's just at some point I think it was Bobby that started asking the question whether there's some juju or something black magic contributing to that. But I'm not going to get into that because I'm not that. I'm not a superstitious person. But that's why we'll move on from that item, that particular item. Good to hear that Gaga Slonina is getting a much needed game time. At this age, he should be playing week in, week out. And I'm glad we didn't decide to keep him at Chelsea to sit on the bench and only gets to play cup games. That would have been. Would have been a very, very that would have been detrimental to his development. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people, and please try as much as you can to keep the topics aligned. We need to be as consistent, stream as consistently as possible, which means we need to do what we can to not exhaust ourselves during a single show. And this year from Adebayo Mark, always nice to see you, brother. He says, can David Washington play as a winger since he is great at dribbling? At this point, we need offensive solutions. Chances are he can. I don't know him that well, I have to be honest with you. I'm not the type to pretend I know a player that much when I don't. So yeah, so I'm gonna try the best we can to round up this show as soon as possible. Because we don't have too many items lined up to talk about. I'll take your questions whenever I can. But I want, if I finish on time and you can say not needing to sleep during the day, then maybe we'll do our members only show to tackle all the items we have there. Can Sterling play in the attacking midfield role? I've seen my friend Tyrone Sajdeva argue that Sterling should actually play in the number 10 role. I don't remember seeing him play there for once, but I'm not too sure about his ability to create chances. I think we have even. I think honestly, as much as I think Cole Palmer isn't that experienced, I think he's more of a creator than Stalin is. Stalin, to me, I'm not too sure how to define his role in this particular team or his overall playing style, honestly. But maybe we should give it a shot and see how that goes. But more importantly, bro, I do hope you're doing well, and I appreciate you finding the time to join the show this morning. We'll move on to the next item we have lined up. I want us to round off as soon as possible. It doesn't matter whether it's in 30 minutes or an hour. We just call it a day rather than give people, you can say, the opportunity to start going at it, having to go at each other or slandering players. It doesn't help, honestly. Let's go. Next item is saying sources close to both the Chelsea ownership and the Chelsea ownership and the club continue to insist that there are no short-term cash flow issues or concerns about compliances with UEFA financial fair play rules. The only thing I've heard is that they're trying to get more people involved so that they can, you can say, have enough money to start the stadium project, which, if you ask me, I'd say they're probably capable of tackling that themselves, but they just want to make it easier by involving more, you can say, introducing more investors, for lack of a better term. I've never been concerned. I've always known as long as we make as much sales that we had planned to sell as much players as we had planned to sell in the summer, that would be all right. We'd have enough money to balance the books. So that has never been my concern. A big up to you too, Ty. I appreciate you joining. Whenever you can, share the link to your channel so people can go check it out. And if you're watching, if you haven't subscribed to Ty's YouTube channel, please go check it out. Ugochukwu's time is now. He can gain a spot ahead of Lavia because of this head start. Yeah. Because you can, if it's not, there's that, as the old saying goes, if it's not broken, don't try to fix it. If he establishes himself and starts doing well, and the manager trusts him, then the only chance Lavia will get will be if Ugochukwu tires out, or maybe if the manager, let me say, use this language, if the manager needs to rest him and give other players a chance. But I think he's capable of, you can say, stating a claim, claiming a, you can say, claiming a starting place for himself because he's that good. And after all, he's more of the more traditional wingers of DM of all the players we have within our ranks. So I hope that happens for him because I've seen enough to know that he's a very intelligent player. And yeah, I want to see him even more. Let's see what Varna says. Yeah, I heard about the 500 million investment as well. Plus, I heard we have already agreed to purchase the land near Stamford Bridge. You have to have enough space to build. You can say it's the sort of structure, or I don't know whether to call it an edifice, or the sort of a stadium we want to build, for lack of a better term. So yeah, keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes that do go a long way. We have just eight likes, and we're not gonna just be, you can say, be winging it without having items lined up to talk. It just doesn't help. It only gives people the opportunity to come fight each other in the chat there, and that can be exhausting for me because I'm not you can say I get concerned, but I'm not the type to start going at the club owners or the players and or maybe I'm not the type to start being negative because it's not good for my health, in my opinion. So Ty has shared the link to his channel there. If you're watching, go check it out and let's help him grow. And it says that Side and Kunku, our offensive signings have been anything short of immature and atrocious. Immature, I would say yes. That's because given their age, that's expected. But I'll say, for me, in my opinion, if you ask me my opinion, I'd say our biggest problem right now is just to start putting away the chances and create even more chances. I get it. Some people will argue that we're actually creating enough chances to win game, but the truth remains: the more chances you create, the more the probability of the players scoring goals again increases. So yeah, we need to create even more. But I get where you're coming from. And I did not come into the season expect us again and expect us to be firing in all cylinders. I knew before time it was going to take time. We're practically, you can say, playing with an entirely new team, and you should know, if you understand football quite well, that it would take time for them to gel. It would take time for them to start playing as a unit. So I'm not too concerned. We'll move on to the next item we have lined up here. 9 likes already. I appreciate that, and we're just 13 minutes into the show. That will go along. We keep dropping the likes. Is a Brentford want around 50 to 60 million pounds for Ivan Toney. To me, it's still a risk, and maybe we're really interested in signing Toney and going for Toney in January. I do not know. From given the report we addressed yesterday, it was just saying that we've been informed of his availability, of the situation, maybe. For lack of a better language, I don't want to misquote anybody. It didn't say specifically whether we're interested in signing him. And the report also did mention that Toney is a Liverpool fan and he likes Arsenal too. He said nothing about Chelsea, but that doesn't mean if we want to sign him, we're not going to push it to see if he'd be interested in joining us. But to be clear, if he in fact is a Liverpool fan and likes Arsenal, which means for us to be able to sign him, it will be that most likely before it would be must be again the situation must be that Arsenal aren't interested in signing him and Liverpool aren't interested in signing him before he pays attention to us, except if we can lure him with a salary, the sort of salary that he cannot resist. And do I think we'd be doing such? No, I think it's a huge risk in so many ways, but I'm not going to get into that. But I'd like to speak about something that Bobby said the last time we talked about Toney, whether nobody knows whether the gambling addiction that he has. Let me use just the words has because there's no way to tell whether he's overcome that. That given his age, that is he has. The risk increases for him to still gamble again because he's been planning. As long as it sounds funny to me, I think there's some truth to that. That the risk of him gambling again is still there or increases because he'd be planning for retirement given his age. I know it sounds funny, but it's factual to some extent if you pay attention to it. But let's move on to the next item we have lined up. Aside in Kunku, yeah, I think I've addressed that one too. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. And this here says the offensive quality is not just the potential, doesn't all translate to being top players. We have a documented history of such at Chelsea. Okay, you could argue that. And yeah, you're entitled to that. We ain't signing Toney. We have an under 25 policy. I think a lot of people have said that, but we've been told, listen, if Fabrizio Romano reports that we've been informed of the situation, which means we inquired. They're not just going to come to us and say, look, Toney is available if you want him. I don't think that's the case. I think we asked and then we were told of his situation. And I think I can see us mixing it up with a bit of more experienced players. I get it. Age and experience can be used interchangeably, but if we're sticking with just experience, Toney is really, really experienced, for not minding how old he is, but truly he's played a lot of Premier League games, and that will go a long way if we sign him. But I have other concerns. I get it, his experience, but that gambling addiction is still an issue for me. Yeah, we ain't signing Toney, so that's a good observation there. And I think if Constantin Dante, if he was here, he'd say the same thing. Toney seemed hurt and scared of repeating his gambling habits. So mentally, you just cannot know what type of player you get. That's just the truth. There's no telling whether he's overcome the addiction or whether the risk of him still gambling is there. We don't know. But that's just me expressing my opinion. Let's move on to the next item we have lined up here. And I've asked you the question: would you be willing to pay around 50 to 60 million for Ivan Toney? Let me see the comment what we have in the chat. What people think. How much would you pay for Ivan Toney? 45% says 45 million, and 27% says 50 million, and 27% says 60 million. Interesting. With the reports, initial reports were that Brentford will be asking around 80 million pounds. Now it turns out that's never. Those were all rumors. Those offensive players that do not excite me. We saw Baby Robin, Duff, and even Oscar. Most of these most of this present offensive lot just don't have it. Okay, time will tell. I like it that you ended that particular comment with a 2-word sentence, 3-word sentence. Time will tell. Yep. You never know. They're still very young. Yeah. Do I think they will all succeed? No. It never happens. But I think majority of them will succeed. And who those are, I don't know. But so let's move on to the next item. I want us to round up as soon as possible. That creates space for people to come. You can say, I'm not going to say that again. I don't want anybody to feel like I'm disrespecting their opinion or not willing to read their opinion and discuss it. No, that's not the case. I think I haven't seen anything negative yet. These are just people being as objective as they deem deem fit, or as subjective as they feel as they can be, for lack of a better term. So in here, Ian Masson spoke to Chelsea in July and August, but there was no agreement over a new deal. That's why Chelsea were ready to sell him to Burnley, but he rejected it. I'm seeing that that he wants to stay, and contract talks are ongoing. And given the second part of this particular report, it simply means he's looking, you can say, seeking a contract that will favor him more than what the club had on the table for him. And he's a good player. I still think he has a place in this team. And I still think at one point we'll see him play constantly because the manager trusts him. Had the manager, again, we could have forced him out. Yeah, because I get it. He refused to join Burnley, but if we were that serious about selling him, we would have. He'd be at Burnley right now, maybe some other club. But yeah, the manager likes him. The player wants to stay and fight for a place in the team, and I think hopefully they'll find common ground and get it sorted out because he's a fine player. I'd rather see him play than Ben Chilwell or Marco Correa. I get it; those two are more experienced, especially Ben Chilwell. But this guy has more to his game than the other two that I've mentioned. But that's why the way I hope they sort it out. If you have anything to say with regards to that, you go ahead. I'll try the best I can to get it. More importantly, Adebayo Markunji, I don't know if I've asked you how you're doing. If I haven't, I'm doing that right now. I hope you're doing well. And hopefully, if we round off on time today, then I will schedule a members only show for later in the evening. No need wasting our energy, you can say, trying to fight over something that we know we cannot change, honestly. But Adebayo, you've been as subjective as possible as you can be. Hello to you too, Constantine Dante. Always nice to see you, brother. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. I do hope you're doing well. Thank you so much. Always nice to see you. And thank you for always supporting the channel. Let's see. Let's move on to the next item we have lined up here. It says, okay, just you, the usual way you call my name. So I appreciate that. Let's move on to the next item. I want us to round off as soon as possible. This one about Moises Caicedo did not train today, and that today, I think that was yesterday, which means I don't think if he didn't, I don't think I think the fact that he didn't train yesterday, he probably most likely will not play against Aston Villa, in my opinion. And Ugochukwu gave a good account of himself. He played very well, read the game well. And as I've explained before, even when he's not putting in the tackles, you could see him occupying spaces that will make to make it difficult for the opposition players to do some damage against us. So yeah, he was excellent. Honestly, to me, I'd rather play him in that again traditional six position than Caicedo. Caicedo for me is more of a box to box or an eight, not really a DM for me. So maybe the manager, the plan is not to risk, not to take any sort of risk or on Moises Caicedo to avoid a setback because we've experienced so many setbacks, and Badiashile have joined the list of players who again who were on the verge of recovering fully, and then you can say get you can say experience, you suffer a setback, and I don't want that to happen again. He's a player I'd like to see recover fully. Him, Badiashile, and let's give them time to recover. If we'll have other players that can come in and do an equally good job, or maybe an even better job. So I wouldn't want a situation where we'd rush them back and then risk a setback for them. It will not help us. We've suffered enough, and I think we can do without them for a while. I'm all good, coach. Hope you're great within Las Vegas. Yeah, I'm great. But here's what I'm trying to avoid. I'm trying to avoid a situation we know we don't have too much to talk about right now. And these are not the sort of topics that you can say, yeah, we don't have too much to talk about, but we can talk so much of the little we have to talk about. So once we address the items we have lined up, we just call it a day. No need to stay here and start having to go at each other or listen to some people spew negativity, not being objective with their comments or contributions in the chat. But nice to hear that you're good. I'm not concerned about Caicedo. It's the offensive department that is mediocre. Need Nkunku and Broya back. I think Broya should be back. I think from what we heard last week, one of the reports we addressed last week or a few days ago, I'm not quite sure what date. The club, the term used is that the club, you say they've decided to be ultra cautious, not to risk a setback. That was why I think we didn't see Badiashile and Broya on the bench for the game against was that Nottingham Forest or so? What was the last game we played? It was a goalless draw. That was against. Sorry, I can't quite remember, but you know the team I'm talking about. And the blue Tiff again, big up to you too, brother. Why are you rushing the show? You're moving like Mudryk in build up. No, here's the thing. I'm gonna explain again. We don't have too much to talk about, and why waste people time and why stay here. Here's the thing. And the way we operate here, everybody's voice and opinions, if that's the language you prefer, matter. Everybody's opinion matters. So I don't want to again sit here and read people's opinion when some people what they do is just slander players, call them all sorts of names that personally I wouldn't do. If I wish that people can come here and just be you can say present constructive criticism and all that, then I'll be willing to read it. But I'm not into name calling. So why would I sit here and be enjoying you say and enjoy reading people's negativity and all that? No, it's not healthy for me. I'm a human being as much as I am a content creator, and no matter the situation, you can say I'm obliged to like come here and present the show. It's not healthy to always read people's negativity and all that. You are moving like Mudryk in the build-up, but much love to you, brother. I was just putting my son to sleep. Took over an hour. Only wanted me, which is rare but smart. Yeah. Sometimes you have some of your children will like you more than their mom, and yeah. As much as it's enjoyable, sometimes it can make it more difficult for you to do other things or to start the vehicle for him not to try to jump into the car. No voice where? Why are you saying no voice? I'm quite sure everyone else can hear me. If they don't hear me, I'm sure by now they'd be saying something. Please let me know if you're in the chat and you cannot hear me. I'm sure my microphone is on and I'm seeing my audio reflecting on the sync. Maybe you should check your Hamid, check your device. And Chelsea Mitchell Boy is in the house. Mitchell Boy, nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you finding the time to join. And I want to quickly appeal to those of you who are watching. For some reason you're not able to participate in the chat. We totally understand that. But if you can do us one tiny beauty favor, which is just to take a second and drop a like on the stream. The likes do go a long way. We'll keep growing. We are at 17,087 likes. Things have slowed down a beat. Yeah, and that's usually happens when things aren't going the right direction. Nothing excites the fans, and you have a few people interested in joining the stream. So that is natural. Go check out Mitchie Boy's YouTube channel. Mitchie Boy will stream later today, and if I have time during that time, I will join it. So Mitchie, do share the link to that show in particular, so people can go check it out. Let's see. I can hear. Okay, must be on your side. So that's why I'm saying must be on his side. Big up to you too, Mitchie Boy. Let's see what else we have here. Chichilla. Now you're butchering it. I know you're trying to call me the same name of that. What's his name? Constantine Dante calls me, but that's not how he says it. It's a Chipchilla. Let me see anything else. Yeah, okay, I have it open there. Mitchell Boy is there in the house. Let's see anything else. Beautiful game. I keep telling my wife the same. Yep. Let's see. It's okay now, Coach. Sorry, it was my device. No, you don't have to apologize. These things happen. I wanted Ivan Toney a long time ago. EPL experience and lethal striker, but you could argue the Chelsea were a bit reluctant to start pushing to sign him because of the gambling issue. Because believe it or not, the clubs do look at that. It's a concern to them. And for Chelsea, I don't know. Maybe under Roman, I think especially under Roman, Roman would have never, you could say, pushed the Roman under Roman era. You would never have seen you would never see the club go for such a player with such history. You can argue the reason we didn't sign what's his name, the French international was done because of the racist issue him and Dembele got involved in. I can't quite remember the story right now, but I'm moving from that. But yeah, he's a fine striker, a good player, and I've heard that his link-up play is good. But I believe it or not, the gambling thing will most likely be something that the club will look at and take their time to consider whether to sign him or not, or whether the risk of him gambling again is still there. Do you think our fans have been too optimistic by saying we will finish in the top 10? No, I would not say that. Here's the thing: we're actually not in crisis. As you could say, if we were here the other night when we addressed a report, somebody explaining that what we need in the midfield area is a little tweaking, and then in the attacking area, it's just the details. Again, be truthful to yourself. Had we been clinical in front of goal, the story would have been different now. So yeah, we don't have too much problem right now, and I'm not too concerned. Now let me just say I'm not too concerned right now, and I am optimistic that yeah, we will click. To what we've been witnessing, in my opinion, it's a gelling issue. We're not playing as a unit yet, and that comes with time. Yeah, and I'm going to say this. I'm going to keep repeating this, asking people the question: Did you really come? Did you come into the season expecting that we'll be firing on Arsenal in this immediately? If you did, if you've done that, then you're not being truthful to yourself. The truth remains we're playing technically with an entirely new team. So the disjointed up displays you see here and then, and you can say the mix-up in the midfield area, on the defensive area, lack of proper communication that you see when we play. Those things are very common when you're playing with an entirely new team. So I'm not too concerned. I'm not seeing things that I didn't expect to see. I get it. Maybe putting away chances, that's a different story altogether. But we, yeah, nobody. I wouldn't say anybody is too optimistic, but I say some are cautiously optimistic. Some are just optimistic. You see people saying they, for instance, Jerry Z would tell you he can see us finishing in the top 4. Do I think we can? I'm not going to the extent of saying here's where I think we can finish. I've always said that I can only say, yeah, I do strongly believe that we'll do better than a lot of people expect us to do. How well, I honestly do not know. Here's Mitchell Boy. He shared the link to the show later in the day, and if you have time, please do join. Chances are there's a chance I'll be there. If we're not going to host a members-only show, or maybe I'll find a way to make it work. I haven't been on his channel for once, have I actually? Or maybe once, but not too many times. But yeah, I think I'd have the time to be on his channel when again as soon as possible. Another match with Gallagher in midfield. Kill me now, please. Says then As much as I think there's a good player in him, he's not my favorite player at Chelsea, and I don't think he should be playing in the central area, in my opinion. Big up Kuchila and Chad, big up to you too, Chelsea. Although I appreciate you joining, Coach. Have you started thinking about our next manager and creating some shows? You have to be proactive and get the jump start on all the other creators. No, I think Poch keeps his job. Come the end of the season, if they see progress, they will keep him. And right now, actually, you could say I'm seeing. You can argue with seeing progress. I get it. We've lost the 2 games and to 2 teams that we should have lost to. But beyond that, other aspect actually, I think we're progressing well, in my opinion. And I think he'd end up keeping his job. Poch hopefully has learned, but you thought he did. I think he'd learn. The changes he made the last time we played showed he's paying attention to what the people want and what the people are complaining about. Fans were unrealistic. We had a clear out. Yep. Maybe Ty will help me put this better. We had a clear out of players willing to leave, but chemistry has gone and new chemistry needs to be found. And that takes time. It's not something that you snap your finger and it happens. That takes a lot of time. But from what I've seen so far, actually, we're progressing. We're ahead of time, in my opinion. I get it. A lot of people aren't built to, you can say, built to come to the, you can say, to believe or to be maybe align themselves with believing that, we need time. They want results now and they want it now. And if it's not happening, then it's all hell and doom. We're in crisis. And some content creator did put it the other day where we have crisis within a crisis. Promise is there, but we are inexperienced and raw in our approach. You can argue that, and the manager, you can say, is experimenting maybe too much. And I'm not going to get into that anyway. Pochettino needs time. Needs time to two of the best managers in the Premier League from the past decade. I think he will come good. I'm not complaining too much. I've had questions, and I think he's addressed the question by not one of the questions that I've had by not playing Ben Chilwell as a left winger, but he actually dropped into the bench. But I would have rather him start in the left back position than see Liverpool play there. Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola had time, and both had a debut season from hell. And look what they've achieved during their times at their respective clubs. I think we need to give the manager time, and we need to learn to be patient, and we need to come to the realization we're playing with an entirely new team, and the team needs time to gel and start playing as a unit. More importantly, do I think the decisions made during the transfer window that they were perfect? I'd say no. But at least we signed some talents, and I think they will come good. It's not a coach problem. It's a club and a player problem. Okay, if that's how you say it. Exactly, Chelsea sessions, but also Poch changing and chopping hasn't helped. The same issue we experienced under what's his name, Graham Potter. I hope he changes. That's true, Constantine. That day, I think it's a matter of trying to get a good sampling size of the potential of all players. Ty, I think you're speaking the language I like this morning, factual and objective, and I love that. And please, if you're watching, if you haven't, go check out Chelsea Sessions. Be sure to subscribe, and let's help him add some cushion to the 1,000 subscribers that he's gained in recent days. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go along. We appreciate you all finding the time to join the show. For me, it's a combination of both. Let's see. Just to let you know, I've rebranded the Potter out fleet of buses. Like I said previously, Poch is not the guy to weather this storm, I'm afraid. Can you elaborate? When you say he's not the guy to weather the storm, I want you to elaborate so we can have clarity what you mean by that, because you can't just throw that on us and expect us to decipher it and be able to come up with what we think you mean by saying that. Yes, people, keep dropping the likes on the stream. The likes do go along where we switch to the next item and move on as quickly as possible. Chances are we'll be doing the 2 shows per day now, because I have. And just going back a bit, Chelsea defender Benoit Badiashile. Let's go back a bit before we come back to this. which says that Moises Caicedo did not train. That gives Lesley Ugochukwu the opportunity. Ugochukwu is an intelligent player, and the last time he had the opportunity to play, he gave a good account of himself, read the game very well, occupying spaces to make it to make things difficult for the opposition players, and also he has good passing range too. He can pick. You can say he has that ability to split opposition defense with his passing ability. We saw that I think on 2 occasions in that particular game. And I'd like to see more of him. That's not me saying that Moises Caicedo isn't a good player. To me, it just shows we have depth in that department. And if Moises Caicedo didn't train, I don't think he should play on Sunday. And I don't think we should be in a rush to, you could say, to bring him back into the fold. I think would risk a setback. I don't want that to happen. So we'll go to the next item here. And before I read what we have in what that says, let's see what else we have here in the chat. He cannot weather the storm. Poch is chillaxed. Is that what you're thinking? I think he can. I think he can weather it. And if you remember, I think according to I haven't confirmed that myself. Jerry C did say, I'm not sure whether to believe that because I have no way to confirm that's the case. That he struggled. His start to life at Tottenham was shaky too, even at Southampton. So if we're going by that, I'd say we're fine. And actually, you can say not so much bad has actually happened. For me, a lot of positives and negatives. And I'm going to say something I've said a few days ago that these run of games that people are saying that we're going to get battered, they're going to use us to mop the floor. Now that those are actually the games that I'm confident will play very well. But that's just my opinion. And yeah, I think a few days to Sunday now, we'll start seeing what I've been preaching. But let's move on from that. Let's see what else we have here. It's not just lineups. Okay, system, you have the conversation with him. We need a manager that owns a pair of balls, coach. And you think he doesn't own one. I think you've already actually pulled up with your boss. You're trying to pick up passengers, but I don't think you're seeing too many. Good morning to you too. A lot of people, Mesole. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much. I cannot thank you enough. Also, the contradiction which should not happen at all. Yeah, let's talk about this one. Chelsea defender Benoit Badiashile sustained a minor setback in his recovery from a hamstring injury at the end of last week. And this actually happened even after the club used the term being ultra cautious not to risk a setback. He wasn't even on the bench against during the last game we played, and now he sustained a setback. Yeah, I hope he recovers and recovers fully because he's a player I'd like to see back playing for us as soon as possible. He has now returned back to individual training, but is hoping to resume training, team training again next week. A good thing is that we have numbers in that department, and hopefully Trevor Chalobah will recover as soon as possible to make up the numbers there. Big up to you to Chelsea all the way. I appreciate you joining. I hope you're doing well. So let's move on to the next item here. I think the same thing aligned with Benoit Badiashile. We're just gonna, you can say, let's let it. Maybe we should let it reach the 1 hour mark. This says Benoit Badiashile is targeting a return to full training with the rest of the team. With the rest of the first team squad next week. Prior to the latest setback, there was a real chance he could have made the squad for this weekend's clash with Aston Villa. We shouldn't be in a rush. We shouldn't rush him back. Give him time to recover fully. I'm glad we're doing that. We're not. Had we been in a rush to bring him back, he would have could have been on the bench for us during the last game, but he wasn't there. So they were being cautious, really. What happened to him, the setback, wasn't something you could say the club caused. I'm saying that because this player here stopped rushing. You could say participant here saying stop rushing players back. The club didn't do that. Had they been in a rush to bring him back, would have he would have been should have been on the bench against for us in the last game. And this Chelsea all the way. Appreciate you. When you have a club gambling on potential players instead of proven and experienced winners, then you have a dysfunctional leadership. None of these players are purchased. Here's the thing: can we stop saying None of these players are Poch's players. Here's the thing. I don't think that Poch. I'm quite sure Poch was briefed properly on the structure of the project, for lack of a better term. He was briefed. Let me use it. Let me say he was briefed on the direction the club wants to go, and yeah, he listened and he accepted it. There's no way the club will sign will complete the signing of any player without Poch okaying it. I'm that I don't know how else to say to come across effectively, but I'm quite sure you understand what I'm trying to say here. I think we should stop saying that none of these players are his signings. I think it doesn't make any sort of sense. He was briefed on the project, the direction the club wants to go, and he accepted it. And he actually did say he did say something to that effect during one of his first interviews. Look, the signings aren't my problem. There are other issues I've seen, and I think the team will come good. This team is destined for great achievements. Honestly, we just need to give them time. We have a crop of new players. We have an entirely new team. The disjointed displays with experience or weakness, and then the mix up here and there, and in the defensive line, the attacking area, the midfield area. These things are common when you make so many changes, and it just seems as if we're not paying attention to the fact we've made so many changes. And if you understand football, the list of your concerns should be, yeah, how well we're playing right now. But we're actually doing well enough. There are other such you can. I've seen people who ask questions: why was Benchua being deployed as a left winger when we have traditional wingers on the bench? That's the sort of concern. Those are the sort of things that I've looked at and asked and I was asking questions. Why was the manager doing that? And I've asked the question, why was the manager doing that? And he's addressed that. But some are concerned that he'd still do that again, since he wasn't probably satisfied with Mudrik's performance. But we still have other players who can still play in that left wing position if we decide to go with the structure that accommodates a winger. So for me, no, I wouldn't go to the extent of saying that those signings and Pochettino's signings are system and tactical strategies that take time. I doubt these kids can grasp what Poch actually wants done on the pitch. I think they can, and you just said it. The start of your comment says systems and tactical strategies take time. So these kids they do need time, especially going by the fact that we've made a lot of changes. We're playing with an entirely new team. If we're being truthful here, Chelsea, the Bluetooth again is saying 1 billion spent on players, so there's absolutely no way that we are rebuilding again. So we are stuck with them. Yeah. So I like that particular comment right there. So we better start supporting our team, whether you like the signings or not. And I'm quite sure you like the signings. I'm not sure where your problem lies, where your issues lie, because you called for the club to sign Moises Caicedo. They've signed him. You also called for the club to sign Lavia, and maybe Lavia you weren't pushing that much for the club to sign Lavia, but they've signed him. They signed a few players that I know quite well. You wanted the club to sign, so yeah, they just need time, and I get it. And if you're gonna say we spent 1 billion, I'd like you to take your time to deduct how much we made from player sales. Yeah, just be a bit. You can say be a bit nice and do that. Let's say no point in blaming the players unless you're talking. Okay, Gallagher, just go away. Let's see. Chelsea are finished a team. Rain, you think so? Okay, let's see. What else we have here? Everything goes wrong at this point. Nothing. I don't think not so much has actually gone wrong. And I'm gonna keep saying this. In my opinion, we're actually making progress. The only thing we haven't done is be a clinical in front of goal. But that's just my opinion. Injury setbacks over 1 week. What exactly can can that setback be? I'm not sure. Maybe a knock, maybe something. I don't know. You could say the report we're looking at on the screen isn't specific. Yeah, it just didn't quite say what sort of a setback that is, and I don't know. Really. Let's see. I admire your optimism. This is not me being optimistic. You know me. If you know how if you listen to me during Potter's era, even 5 games into Potter's era, I was one of those saying, I don't think, well, this is gonna work. And again, a lot of people turned on me on Twitter. That's the sort of person I am. If I see such, I'll be the first to let you know. Here's the thing: in my line of work, we're trained to not let, you can say, our biases dictate how we, you can say, this dictate our opinion. Honestly, I'm trying to be again as objective as I can. Am I perfect? I'm not perfect. Chances are, every now and then, you can say you can present it's an emotional driven opinion that happens because I'm a human being. I'm not perfect. I'm not a machine that's pre-programmed to do but have a certain way without deviating from it, if that makes sense. So it's not about being optimistic. It's about being you can say objective, and I try to do that whenever I speak about situations. What profession is Dante? Okay, just having a conversation there. Copying Brighton is not right way to run the club like Chelsea. We're not copying Brighton. I don't think that's what we're doing. I think the more, if you say something that somebody said in the chat yesterday, it just seemed as if the hierarchy, or maybe those that are responsible for recruiting players are just signing players from their former clubs. That makes more sense than just what you're saying right now. We're not copying Brighton. I wouldn't say that. We have two people. I can't quite differentiate which of them worked for Brighton and which of them worked for Man City, signing players that they know, or players that they helped the two clubs that I've mentioned assign. If you say something to that effect, then I'd say yes, you're correct. But I don't think we're copying Brighton. But that's just my opinion. Kachila, I get your point. Pochettino needs time, but we need a result simultaneously. That will come. And if you're being factual, honestly, I didn't come into the season expecting us to be firing on all cylinders immediately. I expected us to experience such a problems as disjointed displays, mix-ups are in the defensive area and attacking area, midfield area, and those things has been happening. The manager also, again, I've witnessed some stuff that has led to me asking some questions, and I think he's working to address those questions, in my opinion. But I'm moving from that. Chelsea were run well previously. The new football, no, but yes, I'm not gonna get that into that argument with you. Let's let you express yourself, express your concerns. And then I know if I argue with you from now to tomorrow, you still come back with the same thing. I cannot convince you to start thinking or to start reasoning differently. You have your mind set on what you think is going on at the club, and until the performance of the team proves proves you wrong, you're not going to change your mindset. So I'm not going to waste my energy trying to slug it out with you. If we had experienced ballers, we'd be flying high in the table, but because we have a collection of inexperienced youngsters, we have to be patient, and Chelsea fans don't do patient. But given the new owners and the direction they're going, you better learn to be patient. To be patient. Otherwise, you're gonna suffer. And the owners, I don't think they care much whether you think they should start winning now, or whether you think the long term, whether you are buying into their plans for the project. They don't really care. I don't know how else to explain this for you to again start. You could say to come to the realization that those guys, their plan is not to start winning immediately. They've made some changes that suggest they're trying also at the same time to do well right now, but their plan is long term, to establish, you can say, to build a super team that will win consistently and dominate for a while. That's how I see it. And I'm going to say this again. They actually don't care that much about what you think, honestly. Unfortunately for you, not for me. I think I've realized long before now that I'm well strapped and ready for the, you can say, bumpy ride until things are stabilized. I think I'll be able to deal with it effectively. Coach, I know we have few disagreements, but I'm not biased. I genuinely believe what I say. At least it's what you think. And, maybe let me say, maybe you strongly believe you're not biased. But that doesn't mean I have to agree with everything you say because you believe you're not being biased, if that makes sense. And the blue tiff again, once again, coach, sorry, but we don't have time. While we are taking while we are taking a sweet time in school, the rest of the league will be bullying us as soon as we go out into the playground. Unfortunately, do we have any? You can say there's no way this team changes now. If anything, if we're able to change, if we're going to change anything, it will be in January. So what do? You just have to support the team. You just have to get behind the team, support them as much as you can, even though deep down you don't want to. But your resentment, or you can say name calling the players or the manager, or saying the manager isn't it, will not change anything. You have no other option than to just support the team. And if you're doing otherwise, even with the realization that nothing changes now until January, then you're not being truthful to you. You're not being a true fan, really. That's just my opinion. But that's why the way we move on from that, we need time, but there must be gradual progress. And in my opinion, I've seen progress, really. If you ask me, but that's just me. Maybe you haven't. For me, I have. They hired people who once worked at Brighton, obsessed with Brighton at the point, and Man City players, maybe, but I'm not going to say we're copying Brighton. We differ in so many ways. Kachila, I admire your optimism, but that optimism isn't going to win games for us. Yeah, I know that, but this is not just me being optimistic. It's just me being as objective as possible, letting you know that, if you came into the season expecting us to play as good as Man City or Liverpool, then you're not being truthful to yourself. We're practically an entirely new team. Again, you keep making me to repeat myself. The disjointed displays and the mix-up are here and there in the middle area, defensive area, and attacking area. These things are very common when you make that much change. When you make that much changes in the team, if that makes sense. So I'm going to move on as quickly as I can. Hi to you too, Tango Rido. I hope you're doing well. So please, let's be truthful to ourselves. Even if you don't like the signings, even if you feel like we're underperforming, nothing changes now. We can't sign any players right now. So you have no option than to just support the team that you've always said you love. And doing anything, doing otherwise, you're not being truthful to yourself. I'm not sure if Bolly understands the concept of relegation. He's done too much too soon. What model was he looking at? Here's the thing: if we're being honest, and even some of us at the time when we were calling, if you're saying he's done too much too soon, I'm guessing you're referencing the fact that you can say how many players will sign at the same time. And we're actually the ones, some of us, actually, most of the Chelsea fan base, most of our Chelsea fans were calling for the club to do a clear out. And they did a clear out. So now you have to also understand that what comes with the clear out is signing a lot of players. And signing a lot of players in turn leads to the team not playing as a unit for a while. It takes time. And that's why I haven't complained about that much about how we played, how badly, or maybe hyped or overhyped how well we played when we in one of the games, the only game actually we've won so far, because I know it's a long ride. But do I think we'll come good? I think we'll come good. How soon? I do not know, but I think we'll actually finish better than a lot of people expect us to. And I'm gonna keep preaching that, and I'm serious about that. But here's the thing: I think some of us, after pushing the club, suggesting that the club, or maybe calling for the club to do a clear out, they did that, signed players to, you could say, to replenish the squad, and we're still complaining about disjointed displays and, you can say, the issues we've witnessed so far. The only question I've asked is why again the manager, why he keeps deploying Levi Cowell in the left back position and Ben Chilwell playing as a left wing. Those are the questions I've asked. And why didn't Mudryk start against Liverpool? Because he would have, done. You could say he would have done better for us than Chilwell did in that particular game. Because I'm truthful to myself, I've always known, yeah, given that much, how many changes we're making, it's gonna be, yeah, a long season. How long, I do not know, but I still think we'll do well overall. Let's move on. Again, that's just my opinion. Um, I'm not sure owners understand football. They don't have to. They don't have to. Roman wasn't a football expert. He wasn't. I get it. He owned the club. I think he owned Lokomotiv Moscow before buying Chelsea, but he loved football. More importantly, these guys, they want to win, and they have the structure in place now. We just have to be patient. I want us to realize you cannot change anything right now. Let's just support the teams. And here's the thing: last season when we had an experienced team, we had a lot of experienced players. We had Kai Havertz, um, we had Hakim Ziyech. We have others that we've sold. Khalid Koulibaly. We were calling for us to be not to you can say to support the team. We were calling for us to support the team. We don't just you can say it's not healthy for us to be toxic. That's especially true now that we have young players, 19, 20, 21. We have to be cautious how we speak about them. We have to be cautious how we preach toxicity honestly, or negativity, because it gets to them. They're not as experienced as the team we had before. So we have to honestly, I don't know how it's to preach this, but I'm not, we all behave differently, and we all have, and as individuals, have every right to voice our opinions. But if we can learn to not always just preach negativity, or always, you can say, add fuel to fire, it will go a long way, because these are kids. These are kids, honestly, and the negativity, the toxicity, honestly, will not do them any good. It will rather, you can say, compound the situation for them. And some of them coming back from it will be very difficult. Honestly, I have to be honest with you. Let's see what else we have here. Okay, just having a conversation there, Coach. That Legends team could have slapped Bournemouth in the Forest, no cap. Oh yeah, no question. But they're more experienced. That's the thing. But we don't have that much experience. And these guys needs time to gel. Let's see what else we have here. We'll be rounding off as soon as possible. There's no time if you play at the Premier League. Unfortunately, you have to realize, yeah, we need time now. The owners, they don't look like they're willing to. Again, here's the thing. I think from what, given the sort of players we've signed and how much they've spent, I think, in my opinion, from what I've seen, I think they understand that given the sort of the age bracket of the players they've signed, it will take time. But at the same time, they made signings that they believe will help them do well enough, maybe to finish in the table where we'd get to participate in the next edition of the Champions League, or maybe Europa Cup. But in my opinion, I want us to participate in the Champions League and not the Europa League. But I'm going to move on from that. Let's see. Poch's system is simple. When was 4-2-3-1 simple? Okay, Poch's system is simple but after he changed it, he went defensive, which doesn't suit this young core. You saw it when fullbacks are not listening to his instructions. I didn't. You can say, I don't know how else to say that. I did not see anything as such, in my opinion. Maybe I didn't pay attention well. Let's see what else we have here. Anything else to address here? Poch has to play players properly. I think he has to start doing that. I know he's complained. You can say, presented us with some excuses as to why he's played players out of position. I get it. Some will argue it doesn't matter where you play. You should be able to fulfill the role that you're asked to fulfill. But young players, if you do that with young players, you end up confusing them even more. But I hope he changes things around as soon as possible. Clear out every player. They don't know what team balance mean, what team balance mean. Wow, another clear out. Okay. Wanda, bro, I am okay. Doing my assignment on the club. Real quick, I got to know if you think if we kept Hazard, could we be top 5 in the league? Kept him when? When we sold him? Are you talking about Havertz or Hazard? If you're talking about Hazard, when we sold him, Hazard actually, as good as he was for us then, you could say at that time, whenever he wasn't playing, we struggled. Yeah, we struggled whenever he wasn't playing. We weren't that much of a team at the time. I get it. We probably did better at the time than we're doing right now. Definitely did better than we did at the time that we're doing right now. But the truth remains, I think his departure was actually a blessing in disguise. But I'm not going to get into that because I'm not too sure what to make this particular comment. I have to be honest with you. Raphael massively overpaid for average players. Let's see what else we have here. If a whole class of students fail, you sack the teacher. A good teacher assesses his students and pitches the curriculum accordingly. If they don't understand, then you've got to use pictures and cartoons. Wow, some argument right there. When you say it's too soon to sack the teacher right now, actually, it hasn't been, you could say, the worst start to a season. Honestly, I think you could say 5 games into the season, honestly, I'm not too concerned. I try to be as objective as I can. I consider the fact we have too many players out injured. We're playing with an entirely new team. If you're going to judge the manager and judge the team's performance, again, it'd be only fair that you consider those two factors. Yes, Kachila spoken like a real politician. I agree. It's a transition. There are many small things to take into consideration when assessing the situation. Poch needs at least a full season. It's as simple as that. We need patience. We can't change anything right now, no matter how we feel. Honestly. Let's see what else we have here. What else do we have? Lavia, Ugochukwu, Caicedo, Sanchez, Palmer, all had no preseason. That's one thing to mention again. Preseason, because of delays and delays. I wanted them in preseason to get used to one another. For some reason, we were delaying. We didn't sign them. If he's playing for us right now, he will make a whole lot of difference because he has Hazard again. Hazard has that. But here's the thing: is he the same Hazard? Are we? If we bring him back now, are we going to get the same Eden Hazard that we sold to Real Madrid? I say no. But that's just my opinion. But if we're gonna get back, if there's that possibility to get back the same Hazard that we sold to Real Madrid, then yeah, he's capable of making a difference. He's the sort of player that when all else doesn't work, he can pull the rabbit out of the hat to help us win a game. We don't have that sort of player right now. So yeah, maybe if we can get back the same Hazard that we sold to Real Madrid. But if we're talking about the Hazard that left Real Madrid, I'm not too sure, honestly. But keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go along. We appreciate you all. How much time do they need to gel? You must put time up frame, or you might find yourself in the championship. Here's the thing. I think, let's say 10 games into the season will be enough. Yep, 10 games plus training session into the season will be enough. And I would say the next time we get an international break, take the players, go play some friendlies. Clubs do that. That will go a long way too. And something, Chelsea, all the way you mentioned yourself, lots of the players didn't have the preseason with us. They joined very late, and that's an issue. But let's move on from that. Anything else to address here, Coach? We all just want the best for you. And no, just say the club, not for me. I think you should just take a seat in the specially reserved space in the first class of my boss and relax. We will be serving championships shortly. I don't think so. Remember, I'm going to say this. Maybe if you haven't heard me say it before, I'm going to say it again. If you finish outside of top 6, remember, I'm saying this and I'm saying it again. If we finish, let's say 12, divide 12 by 4, whatever amount number you get, I'll do $100 times by that number giveaway. Honestly, and I'm serious. That's how. I think I've answered your question. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. Keep dropping likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. We have a good manager, and I think he will come good, and the players will come good. Lampard and Potter have a better stats, bro. even if they do, I'm still seeing again better progress than I've seen I've seen on the dust too. And how are you arguing this? I don't agree with that. Coach Poch said in an interview that he wanted his fullbacks to stay back, not go forward, attacking last 15 minutes of a game against Bournemouth, and they did not listen. Wow. Okay, that's concerning, really. If he did that, I think I have to. A lot of people have said quite a lot from that particular presser. Maybe I have to. I need to go watch it. Kachila, nothing can tell me otherwise that you aren't an undercover Bali agent. No, I'm not. I'm not. When they when they made mistake, the mistake of firing Bali, I was one of the most vocal. Firing, what's his name? Thomas Tuchel. I was one of the most vocal. Yeah, that's who I am. I'm just. Here's the thing. You don't call them now because they've had people, footballing people. They have a structure in place. Vivel had to leave for a reason I do not know. I'm not on. I'm not protecting them. Keep Poch. We kept Potter, so allow him a chance. Yeah, we actually we haven't seen anything in terms of how long he's been at the club, and I don't think we should actually be talking about him firing him right now. I don't think he makes sense because if you fire him, we're starting afresh again, and I don't think the club would do that. And I'm still saying this where will come good. And believe it or not, coach, I would take an unfit Hazard over Stalin. Okay, that's you. But I've made my opinion known and what I would do. We should sign IK. It's a long shot, but I think we need to sign Nick Pope. I don't think we need goalkeepers right now. The goalkeeping department is the least of my concerns, honestly. Our keeper is looking like he's giving away goals for charity. I don't think so. If anything, he's improved. And if we're being honest, if we have to judge Sanchez fairly, he hasn't played consistently. Again, before we signed him, he didn't play consistently for a while, and then we signed him. Probably he didn't expect to start as soon as to become a first choice goalkeeper as soon as he did. But he had to. We had to bring him on because Kepa left for Real Madrid and all that. But the goalkeeping department isn't my concern. I think Petrovic is a good enough goalkeeper. 5 games in, and they are calling for the coach's head. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense, honestly. Even if Nick Pope is good enough, I don't think we should look to make changes in the goalkeeping department. Now they want Ramsdale. No, we don't. Those are just rumors. Those are just rumors. I think because Arteta dropped him in one game, and then people took it and ran with it. To me, I'm not too sure. Throwing these out in the open. If Ronaldo keeps his current form, we could assign him for 1 year. I don't think we ever sign Ronaldo again. Just move on from that one, bro. Poch will get his chance for sure. They're not firing him. He can still turn it around. I hope, but so far, not looking likely. I think he will turn it around. And remember, I told you that. And Poch is a way better manager than Lampard and what's his name, and Graham Potter combined. That's just my opinion. Joe Shields must stop buying his past players. I think he should. It's coaches that can do that, and not directors. It's unbecoming. I think I agree with you. I don't want to see them sign players they've worked with before and all that. It hasn't helped. Sanchez hasn't been impressive, but he's improved. You have to agree, Maglo. So far, and I think Petrovic should be given the opportunity to start. He will get his chance, but you don't drop goalkeepers like that. From 1 to 10, how sure are we confident we will beat Aston Villa? Here's the thing. I don't think Aston Villa will batter us. I'm not sure the outcome of the game, but I think those run of games that you people, or you can say some sections of the fan base that think we're going to get battered or lose a 0-8 and all that, I think those are the games actually I'm confident we end up doing well. But that's just my opinion. I get it. People are seriously concerned given how poorly, again, you said the results haven't been as good as we've all they've been expecting, but I think it changes. Let's see. Sanchez was man of the match against Bournemouth. Yeah, him and Ugochukwu were you can say the only positive for me from that game. And yeah, I have to agree with you. Kukurea is our worst left back we've had in about 20 years. Wow. Some argument. Chip Chilla. If you want to call me that, is Constantine. Show him how you spell it. It's Chip Chilla. When asked why he kept losing matches, Lampard professionally said the players couldn't fulfill the way he wanted. He wanted to play. It's absolute nonsense. I knew it was a risk hiring him, and some were arguing at the time that we had to hire Lampard because the players will respect him. And I said, absolute boohoo. Why would you hire a manager who literally dragged Everton into the relegation zone and think the players aren't paying attention to respect him, tactically wise, to say, okay, this is the guy that's going to lead us, that's going to help us do well. I didn't buy that idea. And Glenn 10, always nice to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you finding the time to join. I says, big up coach in chat. Poch is working with who he's got and probably kicking himself in the head over who he's loaned out. Possibly. I would have loved us to keep the likes of Ruben Loftus-Cheek. People called for us to sell him. And for me, I think he would have actually, he has a lot to offer to this particular team. I get it. The likes of Ziyech, who you could say even before we sold him in spirit, still wasn't at Chelsea. There are other players that we sold. Kai Havertz wanted to leave. That's a different thing altogether. But a player like Ruben Loftus-Cheek, why did we sell him? I just don't understand. Even though you could say he hasn't played that much, and people were complaining. And now, yeah, we have players that you can argue he's actually 10 times better, in my opinion. But I'm not going to get into that argument right now. But we had to let him go, and people were happy we sold him. I'm not calling for Pochettino's head, but we need results sooner than later. And I think the results will come. But we have to also realize we have to be patient. We are playing with an entirely new team. No arguing against that, honestly. Coach, it's not hard to be better than Potter and Lampard, but he's trying. I think he's actually done better than them from what I've seen. I think given that he has an entirely new team, honestly, let me tell you this. I'd argue had he been the one that took over from what's his name, from Thomas Tuchel, would do better than we did under Graham Potter and what's his name and Frank Lampard combined, honestly. And that's because he'd have more experienced player. It's not like it won't be like a project at the time. He'd have players that can easily adapt to his quickly adapt to his tactical approach, if that makes sense. You think it's gonna end 1-1? Let's see what happens. But Glenn, more importantly, I hope you're recovering well, brother. Always nice to see you. Rain, thinks it's gonna be a draw. Let's see what else we have here. Chelsea went for 2 cheap goalkeepers for FFP reasons, and that doesn't mean they're not good enough. We need to be calm and not expect a Courtois performance from them right away. Sanchez is improving. I think I agree with you. And we did argue, especially chairman of the Goalkeepers Union, Roger, also have argued that, these games that the games he's played for us, let's see those games as his preseason. And boy, he was excellent in that last game. Some one-on-one excellent saves and also close range saves. And plus, he came out as his box and used his height to his advantage. And wow, I was impressed, really. And I didn't know he could actually get to the carpet quickly to stop a shot with his leg, with his arm. He did quite well. We shouldn't expect a Courtois performance from them right away. Sanchez is improving and will get better. So far, Petrovic too, and he will get a chance. Let's see, 3-0. You think Aston Villa wins? Okay, let's see, Daniel Munoz. Rafael, Chobin, very good. Here's the thing. Let's say something quickly. Some of us here, last time, I think people were saying we were going to beat, what team was that beat us 1-0? Nottingham Forest. We were going to beat them 6-0, 8-0, and all that. And they frustrated us, getting a single chance. I'm not sure how many shots they had on the day, but not too many, but they scored with one of them, and that's it. Here's the thing, I get it. Now that you guys are saying that Aston Villa are going to beat us. I think that's the game we'll end up winning. That's how I see it. But let's see. The game will be played on Sunday. We'll find out. Coach, do you like who? I don't even know the names you're mentioning here. I have to be honest. Let's see. Reece James, Chile, and Nkunku carry this team. I think a lot of people have argued that. Reece James, more importantly, I don't think Nkunku have done much that you say. Yeah, he carries this team too. He's part of the a crop of players that carry this team. We'll find out in due time. Let's see anything else. Broya is better than who? Antonio, which of the Antonios? Antonio, which of the Antonios you're mentioning? You have to be specific there. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. But I'm okay with Sanchez for now and Petrovic. Sanchez again. If he keeps, he actually, you can say he was the reason we didn't lose that game. And that's how goalkeepers earn their money. So a brilliant performance for him on the den. Like you said, he was the man of the match, and I didn't know that actually. That's the least of our problems right now. The goalkeeping department shouldn't be our concerns. We have other issues. We should start. We should create more chances. We should also start putting away the chances we create. If we had a good striker, then the fans would be singing praises to Pochettino by now. I think you could argue that, but I am still hopeful and that the team will come good sooner. I think we will come good. I'm not too concerned. And this is not me being biased or too optimistic. Objectively, look at the situation. Reece James will still come back, and Nkunku will still come back. And yeah, those two players alone will make a ton of difference, in my opinion. And if we start putting away the chances, then the rest will be history. I think we'll be good. Honestly, I'm not too concerned at this point. Let's see what else we have here. And the Bluetooth game again says, welcome, Glenn. We are really trying our best to convince Coach to take his meds. Do I look like I take meds to survive? To counteract the politics. Either that or he is auditioning to become a member of the Ghanaian parliament. Yeah, that story. I know you like that story that much, but you're not going to win. Stalin getting the downgrade is absolutely disrespectful. Wow. I felt this season for what it was decent enough. 8-0 Villa payback. Okay, if you think that's going to be the case, let's see what happens. And I'm not going to be looking at the year you're mentioning there. I will not do that. But let's see what happens. I like it. Usually when people say we're going to spank a team, we're going to mop the floor with the team, that's when I get concerned. Have you tried putting anything in his food? Wow. Glenn, I thought you were on my side. Stop Villa's counter-attacking, and there's a chance we can beat them, especially players like Diaby and Bailey. You also don't forget Oli Watkins. I think people underrate Watkins. He's a fine finisher on this day, and actually, if he gets a chance, he puts it away. Chances are that you can say 8 out of 10 times he'll put it away. So we must be very cautious. Speaking of keepers, Onana, man, yeah, I'm glad we didn't get him. Man couldn't stop heated argument. Glad we dodged that. I wanted us to sign him. You could say probably my opinion at the time, driven by the fact that I like his ability on the ball. And then I think, wow, I think the errors have become too much at United, really. Whether he comes back from that, it remains to be seen, but I wish him well because he's a goalkeeper I liked. Hi to you too, Isaac, saying honestly right now, yeah, a lot of people are. So, but be strong. Actually surprised Man United scored 3. Yeah, that's because Bayern came to attack. So they had the spaces, they didn't defend it and all that. You can say, and Bayern also, if we're being honest, they've been atrocious defensively of late. Yeah, they concede goals now here and there. Let's see, did he borrow De Gea's gloves? Maybe, because De Gea, you can say his start to life at United wasn't rosy. Lots of high-profile mistakes, even beyond his start to life at United also. Every now and then you see that you can say high-profile howler from him. Maybe it's a United thing. Maybe, I'm not too sure. I feel bad for Onana. Yeah, let's see. I hope he's able to come back from that because I like him really. It's what the doctors are prescribed. Take a painkiller before and after every Chelsea match. Yeah, maybe. Pochettino should stop playing Gallagher or Enzo as a 10. He should just play a flat 4-3-3. Enzo and Gallagher are no 10s. I cannot argue that enough. I think I have. I'll see if I save that. I have a respond on Twitter where I was arguing we need an attacking midfielder, and people saying that's capable of creating double digits in terms of assists at the end of the season. And some people say Enzo is the guy. Am I saying Enzo is a bad player? Oh no, I love him. He's an excellent player, but I think Enzo needs to operate again. He needs to start in a deeper position, and then with the independence to be as adventurous as he wants to be on the pitch. Because Enzo, the more he sees the pitch, the more effective he'd be for us. The less he sees the pitch, the less effective he'd be for us, honestly. But a lot of people don't get that. They want him to play in the 10th position. And I still see them arguing that, yeah, he should be playing there, even though we've seen the signs that it will never work. Welcome back, Glenn. Again, we need to round off as soon as possible right now. Big up Oladi Popo. Spurs winning the trophy this year. They look like it, but it's too early. It's just 5 games into the season. Let's see. But they look like a well-oiled machine. And yeah, but they didn't make as many changes as we've made. They look like they're gonna win something that they're capable of, but it's too early in the season. Even I still think Arsenal will still falter big time, especially now that they have Champions League football. They started well, but from what I've seen, they will still falter. When I don't know, but it's too early to argue that any team will win the league. I have never fancied paying large transfer fees for defenders and goalkeepers at Chelsea. Even attacking players, it hasn't worked for us. Paying large sum or transfer fees for any player hasn't worked for us in recent years, honestly. But maybe Enzo so far has, you say, he's an exception. I hope others are too. Will be an exception too. We cannot bully sports fans no more because they are winning a trophy this year. They haven't won one yet. They look like they're capable of winning one. Will they end up winning one? I'm not too sure. Yeah, maybe that's what he needs to do. Maybe we need to again that loan spell needs to happen for us to see. Yeah, he needs to stay with us. I actually wanted him to stay because he plays differently. He brings something different to the table than no other player in the team brings out. Were you that mad? Sorry to hear that, brother. This says Mudrik goes to the gym and bullies people, yet Connor bullies him on the pitch. Man has a lot to do regarding his aura and persona on the pitch. Managers hasn't helped. The managers we've had haven't helped. They haven't helped his confidence, and I don't want to go back to that again. That infuriated me really. The captain shouldn't be doing that. But that's, by the way, Chelsea in 2024 will be world class when everyone is healthy and when the team gels. When the manager bets in every player, when every player bets in properly, then we'll be good. That's me using what's his name? AD Love for Blues language. Coach, I meant Angie. Oh, okay. Yeah. He's looking the real deal. And he was on the list. But Houston, they're playing well. And I'm not too sure what else to say, but they look good. They look like they're capable of winning something this season. Do I think they will? I don't know. It's too early to say. Let's by the time we get into 15, 20 games, then we'll talk about that. In 2025, we have Dacho Fofana. Pies. Do you think Dacho Fofana comes back? I don't know. Pies, and that's Caicedo's fellow countryman. Angelo with Hutchinson. I don't think all of them comes back. I think we'll probably pick a 2 or 3 from them. Let's see what happens. Gallagher thinks it's him. Yeah, he was wearing the captain's armband. What do you think? But I didn't like how he had to go at Mudrik, a player who's already low on confidence. I don't think that was nice. A captain shouldn't be doing that, but he's still young, probably doesn't know what it takes to lead. So we have was that 2 items or just 1 item to address it, and then we call it a day. We don't need to keep going here. There's Ethan, the aunt much to talk about really. I think we have that in this one when we have that one open here. Is that something different? Um, okay, and maybe we need to look at this one too, and then we can call it a day. Let's see anything else to address here. I don't think there's much to address there. Just people having a good conversation in the chat there. Nani Madrika with Reese overlapping will be undefeated. Madrika needs a run of games. He's still a bit raw. Let's see what happens. So let's address the items, two more items that AD has sent to me and call it a day. This one says that Chelsea's ambition is to complete the stadium redevelopment project by 2030. That's how many years from now? About 7 years from now, isn't it? Let's just say 6 years from now, because we're close to, yeah, the years are just a few months out. Chelsea's ambition to complete the stadium redevelopment project by 2030, as they await a decision on whether a 65 million pounds offer to buy a 12-acre plot of land next to Stamford Bridge is accepted. So those people will probably milk us. They'll milk the life out of us because they know we're desperate for that particular space. Probably will be asking for more. And this next report says Chelsea's ambition. I think it's the same thing. I mix it up. Maybe that was the next item I had in mind to open. Is this the same thing? And yeah, I think we've addressed everything we have lined up today. I'm just going to get the contributions we have in the chat and call it a day. And if you haven't, go check out Mitchell Boss YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe and let him know I sent you. What else do we have here? And a team doesn't suddenly become world class because players gel. Just win trophies consistently, but you have to start with 1-2, and the team has to gel before you'll be ready. You can say you'll be ready. You can say you'll be ready to win a trophy. I don't see the possibility of a club winning a trophy without having a team that plays as a unit. It hardly happens, but I get your argument. It starts with a step, which is win the first trophy first. And to win the first trophy first, we have to get the team to start winning. To win the first trophy first, we have to we have to get the team to start playing as a unit, and then win the first trophy. If that makes sense, yeah, I get it. But I get your argument. I'd be kidding if I said I don't. Smoking the really good stuff. Let's see what else we have here. Chelsea's biggest weakness aren't midfield defense or attack. It's hamstrings. Maybe that's what that's what you should call it, really. When is your boy Mudryk scoring? Surely he can score with Villa's high press. Maybe that's if the manager give him a chance. Chances are manager probably trusts Ben Chilwell than Mudryk because yeah, I get it. Ben Chilwell carries goal threat, and we see Ben Chilwell play in the left wing position again. But I don't want to see that. Coach, did you go over since I'm go over five? Yeah. The topic, I think we did talk about it. Is it 400 or 300? You're really trying to get me to stay here. Let me see if we have it somewhere here. I think we've talked about it the other day. The 400 million, I think it was a 400 million investment from yeah, I don't have it here. Yeah, we've talked about that yesterday. And John Terry and Co wanted to also join. Yeah, I think we've talked about that, Coach. I don't pray for that, but I don't. You don't think you don't see Modric killing it at Chelsea. Let's see. Just play him. The managers they haven't helped. It wants. Let's see. Once he starts consistently, he needs a consistent run of games, and then you'd see how good he can be. That if Poch doesn't drop him after one game, yeah, exactly. I think probably he ends up dropping him and will play Ben Chilwell. Coachella, if you were Pochettino, would you be under pressure with this state of affairs at Chelsea? I'm gonna say this. I will not, and that's who I am. And in my line of job, I've said that 1,000 times. Things like these things don't get to me really. I try to focus on the solution to the issues I'm experiencing. I don't let the issues get to me. I've done it again for whatever, again, what I do for a living. I've done it for a long while. That pressure isn't an issue for me, honestly. It will not, it doesn't get me. I don't know how else to phrase it to come across effectively, but the point is, I will not be into that at this point. No, no pressure. Of course, I will. Again, I know the fact that we've made a lot of changes, and that has led to some of the issues we're witnessing. To me, the focus would be to get the strikers to stop putting away the chances. Honestly, but that's just who I am. Yeah, and this is no different from the fact that there's a saying in the movie industry where you say, um, if you give 10 if you give 10 different directors of 10 a script, a particular script, different the same storyline, you see different interpretation of that storyline. It doesn't differ that much when you talk about a crop of players. If you give 10 different managers same team, some, like you said, this Chelsea team, you see them play differently on, again, 10 different ways. I don't know if that makes sense. So for me, if I were the Chelsea coach, they'd be playing differently in so many ways. But I'm not going to get into that. I'm not a coach right now. I don't coach Chelsea. But if you get my point, no such enough pressure at this time. If the pressure gets to the manager just on that, just 5 games into the season, and he's feeling the pressure, then he shouldn't have been hired in the first place. His focus right now should be, okay, what are the issues we're having, and how do we solve those issues, the problems we're having? That's just my opinion. Every coach has dropped him except the Ukrainian coach. Time to read the fine line and understand why. No, I don't agree. There are solid arguments. Those coaches, you could say, had other players they preferred, maybe. And Potter didn't handle, you could say, Mudryk's start to life at Chelsea well. Everything started under Potter. And Frank Lampard actually had the chance to give him game time. Even though he wanted to sign him at Everton, he still didn't give him enough game time. Preferred the players. You could say maybe he was a bit biased with his selection, really. And that's just my opinion. Yeah, and Pochettino hasn't handled it well. Pochettino, if he was paying attention, that goal he scored during preseason, that was enough to show him what the guy is capable of doing. But he had other plans. His intention was to try to play, you could say, to be as cautious as possible, not to concede, which was why we saw Ben Chilwell playing in the left wing position when he's a fullback, at most a wing back. Yeah, so I don't think Mudryk isn't a bad player, honestly. The managers, they haven't helped. Jose and Faggy used their first trophy to build world-class performances and team. Just do the basic, defend well and win games. Yeah, there you go. Now you're speaking language I understand. So the way you presented your, should I call, the other contribution in the chat was what led to me saying, yeah, it starts with the first trophy. So I think we're saying the same thing, but seeing it maybe probably from a different perspective. Breaking news, there's no breaking news. Yeah, there's nothing else to talk about here. You think Chilwell is a better option than Mudryk? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Even if we're playing with the back three and we're playing with the wing back positions, I'd rather play Mudryk in the wing back position, in the left wing back position, than play Ben Chilwell there. Honestly, and that's because if we're playing with three center backs, 2 6s, we're playing with 5 defensive-minded players. I get it. Even in the situation where one of the 6s has the independence to be more adventurous on the pitch, it's still an issue because you expect them to read the game and break up opposition play. So we're playing with 5 defensive-minded players. So why play with 7 defensive-minded players in total? So it just doesn't make sense, honestly. And that's why when Tuchel did it, when he was playing with a 3 at the back approach, but deploying wingers in the wing back position, I liked it because that's a back 3 with an attacking intent. Because it doesn't make sense to play with 3 center backs, 2 6s, 2 defensive defensive-minded players in the 2 6s, and then 2 defensive-minded players in the wing back positions. That's 7 defensive-minded players. Even if you ask me, I'd rather we play with a single six, because a single six, traditional six, can suffice. Then you have one more player to join the attack. It makes a whole lot of difference, in my opinion. So I don't like a situation where we play with the back three, especially Ben Chilwell. If Reece James I can take, because Reece James, he's capable of playing in the midfield. He's offensive minded. He can pick up good passes. He can get you goals. But Ben Chilwell, other than the goal threat, he's can progressing the ball isn't really his thing. Every time you have a player on him, they opt for several options, either going sideways or backwards. But that's just my opinion. But thank you for that. No, but Matson is, and Matson also, yeah, Matson also would be a better option in that position. He's a defender traditionally, but offensively, I think he'd do better than Ben Chilwell, honestly. He's a fine finisher on his day too. Coach, just go already. Hurry. I'll be leaving in a bit. Coach, you will not be under pressure. Are you Lampard? No, here's the thing. I've explained how I operate. We all operate differently. There are some people actually, after the first game, you can say after the second game, they start panicking immediately. It depends on the individual. And if you know me too well, I'm going to say this again. That maybe that will give you a clue as to how I operate. On the underground Potter, after 3 games, when people were saying we played so well, this is our Potter ball has arrived. I was one of those. Roger Pop, and others saying, no, we were lucky to have won those games, or to have drawn those games. We have a huge issue, especially what I complained the most about on the ground, Potter, was our behavior off the ball. But that has improved. I'm not the one. You can say I'm not perfect. Chances are there are occasions where I've expressed you can say opinion-driven you can say arguments, presented opinion-driven arguments here unknowingly, but I like to be as objective as possible. Matson can even get a game. I think he will get a game with time. The manager is just trying to, you can say, to be as cautious as possible until the team settles properly. Give Pep this team and we win 2 trophies. I don't agree with you. Pep will not even take this job. Pep don't go to a team where he goes and he needs time to build anything. He needs to have good enough players, experienced enough players to be performing, you can say, well enough. He's not into building from scratch. That's not his thing. Honestly, he doesn't do that. Pep goes into a ready-made team and then starts suggesting what players he needs to become better. His defensive side is inexperienced work, but he is technically better than Ben Chilwell and Kukurea. Oh, yeah, I agree with you. Even his overall game, yep, I agree with you. Matson was good in the 10, actually, because was playing in between the lines. And, yeah, he has a good eye for goals. Cole Palmer was playing predominantly on the wings at Chelsea, but hasn't had a single game on the wings at Chelsea. I think you mean predominantly at the wings at City. I think his time will come. I think he's more effective on the wings. Wherever he fits in, the manager will figure that out. Let's see. Fit Pulisic and Modric. Who do you choose to play? Oh my goodness. I'm an American. The bias is there. It depends on the position you're mentioning. Honestly, I'm not gonna do that. Here's the thing, because of experience and because of I know what Pulisic is capable of doing, I'll take Pulisic, in my opinion. But I think we can have them both. They operate differently. Pulisic is capable of playing the 10 role. Actually, I know a lot of people don't know that, and he can fulfill that role quite well. But he wanted to leave Chelsea. It's as simple as that, and I'm not going to get into that argument right now. Let's see what else we have here. Chelsea will regret not buying Felix. No, I don't think we will. Felix is better than Jackson. But Felix, here's the thing. Once Jackson starts firing on all cylinders, you will not regret letting Felix go. I wanted us to keep Felix, but even before he went back to Atletico, I knew it would be very difficult for us to keep him, given the asking price, more importantly, and given the fact that the club's priority, the past transfer window would most likely will be to sell players, buy players, and balance the books. And Felix to me, that department is an area where, if you look at the players we had at the time, I don't think the club would be too eager to sign him. Although they tried, according to rumors, but the asking price was just too much. In my opinion, Chilwell is more of a liability than Cucurella defensively. Yeah, I think you could argue that. I would take Cucurella over Chilwell. Why? One simple reason. That simple reason being, Cucurella is capable of finding passing lanes, even when you have opposition players on him, blocking. You can say if you believe they're blocking his that he's not going to find a passing. He finds passing lanes where you don't know one exists, and he always keeps it on the carpet. And for me, I like that. But he has a deficiency that I'd rather in a fullback role play Ben Chilwell. I think Ben Chilwell can defend better. To accommodate Cucurella, you need to understand that he plays like a sweeper defender. He always tries, you can say, to correct the mistakes of its defensive pass, which means you'd have to have a 6 or someone else who reads when he leaves that space and behind. And that's too much work for the manager right now. And I don't think the manager will be able to do that. Let's see. Yeah, if you start him consistently and you can help him gain his mojo back, I think he's capable of doing that. Mitchie Boy, once more, nice to see you. Please go check out Mitchie Boy's YouTube channel. Mitchie, share the link to your show. Right now, I think we've come to the natural end of the show, and I'm going to call it a day, Jacob. Huggins, nice to see you, brother. It's been an excellent show. I like interacting with you. Again, usually when I see you said the sort of topics that we need to be asking panelists questions, I usually don't share the links, but sometimes when panelists are eager to come on, they do ask for the link, and I will kindly share. But I think we've come to the end of the show. We'll probably most likely host an evening show, but it may well be just a member show. I'm not too sure, but we'll see what happens there. Big up to all of you. It says I don't rate a displayer, but I will hold you to it, Dante, and add me to the list of those that you will hold. I will answer for that. With that, we've come to the natural end of the show. I cannot thank you guys enough. I appreciate you all finding the time to join the show. Chamera, much love to you. Jacob Huggins, lateness is greatness. I'll see you next time. But let's see who else we have here. Mitchell Boy, share the link to that show so people can go drop a like on it and help you garner more likes. And let's see Chelsea all the way. And my South African bro, my bro from the Madiba line. Always nice to see you. I appreciate you. Usman, nice to see you. And Chelsea all the way. Constantine Dante. Much love to you. And the blue. Tough game. Much love to you. And if I miss your name, apologies. A lot of people mess up. Much love to you, my brother. Please give me a call. So give me a call, Moko Yan. And Adebayo Makunju, much love to you. And I thank you for all the constructive contributions in the chat today. And if I miss your name, apologies. Santiago Muno, also my assistant. I call Santiago my assistant. Always in the chat, helping me answer some questions when he knows I'm busy interacting. Wanka, welcome to the channel. I appreciate you. Fill out home, Top S. And if I miss your name, Top S, much love to you. Apologies if I miss your name. I'm only human. See you guys next time. God bless us all, and bye.